Okay, welcome to the podcast. My podcast is called My Heroes Have Always Been Good Peeps. And these two guys are performers I've never performed with, but I'm a big fan of both of y'all. And I'm really looking forward to the show in Waco. We have Robert Ray, an up and coming country artist. Nice to see you, Robert.
Nice to see you too, Mr. Chris.
I look forward to finally meeting you in person. I've been a fan for a while. And Mr. John Stringer, who I've only met once very briefly in Colorado Springs, but also a big fan. And I think we're gonna have a great show in Waco.
I
Now,
couldn't agree more, man. I've been looking forward to working with you literally since I heard your name, man. I've been a big fan even before I started comedy, so I'm glad we finally get to share a stage.
that'll be good. Now, John, you've done the backyard stage before. Is that
I,
right?
I I haven't performed there. I know the guys that own it, and I absolutely love the venue. They know how to set up a venue for live performances. So, both for music, I think Robert is going to knock it out of the park. But I've only been there to eat. The food is fantastic. So, I can't wait to eat and then perform in a lethargic state. That's how I operate.
That's awesome. And Robert, have you ever performed at the backyard?
No, Mr. Chris, I've never performed there, but I have a lot of my artist buddies that have played there. I mean, I know the venue pretty well. I mean, of course, I've seen it all over. It looks like a really, really nice place, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to be performing with you guys, and I appreciate the opportunity. I know, Mr. Chris, we kind of got in touch last year during COVID, when I was doing a bunch of my live streams and stuff, and that's when
Yeah.
you kind of introduced yourself to me, and that's how we kind of became friends. And it's great now that after COVID and everything, that we're still able to kind of do shows, especially do one together. So same
Yeah.
thing with you, John, as well. Do a show together. It's just really great.
Yeah, the show came about because my buddy Pat Green at the backyard the day after we are. And I was planning to go see Pat anyway. And so I contacted the backyard and said, look, if I put a show together, can we do something? That way I'll be there. It'll be like a little paid vacation.
That's great planning, man. That's thinking many steps ahead. Good idea. I love Pat Green. I got to meet him way back in high school and then again in college. So, I mean, you have the ability, Chris Fonseca, to take your career, call someone up and say, "Hey, I want to see Pat Green. Mind putting me in the venue the day before?" You can do that. No one else I know can do that. That is very cool.
Well, it was very crazy 'cause I I had contacted Robert about maybe doing some shows in May, and then when I finally got a go ahead, Robert was like, "Well, I'll be in Colorado that weekend," but it worked out where you could stop in Waco on
Right.
Thursday.
Well, that's great.
Well, it makes it easier for us because a trip from where I'm from to Colorado Springs is probably like it's like 16 hours.
Right,
So that's us driving to Waco. It's about 4 hours. So
right.
leaving from Waco to Colorado, it's not as long. It's still like 10 or 11 hours.
Right.
But I mean, you're saving us a few hours to and then we get to perform, So
Yeah.
look forward to.
Yeah. I'm I'm hoping to get a good crowd like Pat and his people are helping me promote. Pat's
Oh wow.
sister lives in Waco, so, and she's a realtor out there, and so she's helping spread the word. And Robert, I know you worked with Chris Perez last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
And Chris and like AB and all those guys I know from way back. And there's a promoter who's like a cousin-in-law of mine. John, all us Mexicans are related. And I'm sure at some point Robert and I'll find out we're like 10th cousins or something.
Yeah, no, as Hispanics, we have a pretty big families. Every now and then, um, I'll run into somebody here in town or on the area, and then they'll tell me that, hey, we're primos, we're cousins. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't even know that, And then it's funny because I remember like in high school or like in school, you know, uh, some of my friends that they had been friends for like, since we'd been friends since we were kids, and then I tell my parents like, oh yeah, this is them, and they'd be like, who are the parents, right? And I tell them who my parents are, and they're like, oh, y'all are cousins, you're like they're cousins, distant cousins. I'm like, what? No way.
That's awesome.
So I know what you say when you're like we could possibly be like 10th cousins or something.
You'll be an honorary Mexican in the night, John.
Yeah, John will be our cousin too.
Oh, would love to be. That'd be awesome. No. It's funny, and I know you guys know how it works too. But just as you start your career and as you progress, have you noticed how substantially your family grows? People come out of the woodworks like, "Yo, bro, I'm coming to your concert this weekend. We're cousins," and I'm like, I don't know. Let's show me the 23 and me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was at the improv in Brea, California one
in
time,
there.
and the waitress came up and said, don't worry, we're taking care of your sister. And I'm like, I promise you, neither of my sisters are anywhere near here. What are you talking about? And it was some woman who has the last name Fonseca who just showed her ID and they believed her. They were like pumping them grains.
That's
It's
great.
crazy.
And
Ballsy.
and whenever people do that, you kind of feel like, you know what, I'll let you in just for the effort, for you to try it and
Yeah,
actually get past
right.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely something we would pull off earlier in our lives. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, exactly. Uh, So, Robert, I heard you this morning on Mountain Country in
Yeah.
Colorado Springs. That's where I first heard your music and became a fan. And you were talking about you originally wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, this morning I had that phone interview with Mountain Country there in Colorado. And yeah, they asked me about, how I kind of got into music and singing and stuff. And like I was telling them, it wasn't like something that I was just destined to be because like I said, if you heard the interview, growing up, I was a very shy kid. I didn't like being the center of attention. I was just one of those kids where if I had to do a speech or a presentation that day, that I would blush and get red and just it kind of my hands would get sweaty and kind of stutter my words and stuff. But then I picked up the guitar at about 12 years old. And in high school, I started listening to more country music and started playing it more. And then just one day I just started singing and just kind of just started practicing my singing and stuff. And then I always had a passion for music ever since I picked up the guitar, just because for anybody that picks up the guitar, I mean, they know that you have to have a lot of patience. You have to practice every day because you have to get, the calluses on your fingers and stuff. And anyways, and then it wasn't until college when I actually started writing it and actually started my own band. And then, just like any other band, just start off as kind of a cover band, and we did a bunch of acoustic stuff, and then of course form a band, and then we started getting these shows where, hey, we're just trying to get exposure and just opening up for some of these bigger bands just to kind of get my name out there and stuff. And then it kind of happened. But I know your question was I wanted to be a baseball player. Yeah, I wanted to play for the Houston Astros. I was a diehard Astros fan when I was a kid. And I think I went to like my first game when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And ever since then, just the atmosphere of on a baseball field and everything, I just loved it. And I even played a little bit of college ball. I was playing at a junior college, and then while I was attending a junior college playing baseball, that's when I had just started my band. At the same time, I was having gigs and games on the same day. So I had to have a talk with my coach and tell him, hey, I'm kind of in a predicament right now, because I want to play baseball, but I have some gigs and stuff, and so I ultimately had to kind of make a decision between two passions. And well, the thing is with baseball, I was having to work out and I was getting older and everything, and then singing, well, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I don't really have to work out or anything. I mean, now I started to work out just because my metabolism has slowed down a bit, and I've noticed I'm getting kind of chubby, so trying
Same.
to stay a little fit. But yeah, so I hung up the spikes and I decided to pursue music. And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of support from, of course, my friends and my family, but also a lot of my fans and everything. And just very blessed to be where I'm at, especially with the way last year went, with COVID and everything. And I mean, of course, it's still out there, but I mean, at least we're able to kind of go out there and put on some shows and give some entertainment to some folks that have just been sitting at home while they're bickering at each other. But yeah.
Hey, so John, did you ever play any sports?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, probably like any, I don't know, attention deficit disorder before diagnosis were even out there. I think that I was just eager to get out of the house and stay out of the house like any kid, like make friends, join clubs, join sports, join anything. So I mean, I played football, basketball, track, baseball through high school, some into college. I walked on to football, actually made it, and they had no place for me. So then I didn't do it anymore. I was probably never as good at anything as I thought I was realistically, but back in the day, it was my fuel. Like I thought, I don't know, wrestling fit my weird body type. I've got tiny legs and a long body. And so for some reason, and flat feet, I don't know why. I've been given all these amazing body part. No, I'm just kidding. They're not. But like short legs for my height. Like I've got the legs of a 5'8" guy and the torso of a 6'3" guy. So it's super awkward. But in wrestling, that shit worked. I don't know why it worked. I was pretty good at wrestling, and then. But comedy was I've always felt more opposite of Robert. Now I've always been respectful, quiet. Opposite of Robert, I've always felt more comfortable on stage than in small groups where you have to be more intimate, I feel like that's showing so much more of who you are than when on stage you can, like off stage, I'm a Boy Scout. On stage, if you're sensitive about it, chances are I'm gonna poo on it. Like that's just the nature of it. I want to desensitize anybody about anything that they're sensitive about. But yeah, off stage, I want everybody to go the speed limit, and I want everybody to be kind and tip overly well. And so, but yeah, man, I played every sport you could put me in front of. I probably had way too much energy, and still translates to my excess energy on stage for sure.
Yeah. And where did you grow up, John?
I grew up in the panhandle of Texas. If you know where Lubbock is, then just 30 miles away, there's a small town called Tahoka that I do believe translates to bad water. I'm not making that up. Everybody in town has like yellow or brown teeth. If you're from a small town, you know what fluoride stains are. And I had them all my life growing up. I had I just call them small town stains where you drink bad water. But it was from a town called Tahoka up in the panhandle, and like 3,000 people. And one day, I don't think in no way now and in 20 years from now, I'll never have an idea or a thought that I am a celebrity or anything like that. It's just not who I am. It's not a part of who or what I am or what I'm about. But one day I do want to buy a billboard outside of 3,000 people Tahoka that says birthplace of John Stringer. So the 3,000 people that live there think, oh my God, he did something with his life. That would be cool, just for no other reason than to flex on a small town.
Yeah, made enough money to buy a billboard.
Yeah, exactly. It would be self-endorsed, so it would be a different career than the one I have.
No, I'm actually familiar with Tahoka.
What? That's crazy.
Back in the day, there was a comedy club in Lubbock, Texas called
Waterworks.
Froggy Bottoms.
Oh.
Way back in the 90s. That's actually where I met Pat Green.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Pat
It comes full circle.
Yeah, Pat went to Texas Tech, and he would go see me at the comedy club, and then years later, I was a fan of his music, and I felt like an idiot because I went to introduce myself, and he was like, "You don't remember me? I was buying you tequila."
Oh.
Oh, yeah, you know.
That's a cool story. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Smallest world ever.
And to Pat, I got into listening to the Raptors guys, yeah, like Corey Morrow.
Oh, I love Corey Morrow. Yeah. Jerry Jeff Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jerry Jeff Walker, Randy Rogers, Robert.
Texas is blessed with so much talent, man. And it's crazy to think of it that way because, Robert, you're walking the exact same steps. You see it firsthand how ungraceful the early days of gigging are. And then you put in the years, you start to finally see yourself as a small business, and that, well, I need to really apply myself to this. And so the gigs get a little bit better. The headshots get a little bit better. The marketing gets a little bit better. It's just, you pick it up as you go. It's amazing. Comics I started with 10 years ago are exactly just only because of what they've done marketing wise. They're as brilliant a writer as you will ever find and performer, but they still don't have a fan page. They still don't have a website. They still don't have merch. They still haven't recorded a single bit of their set. And I'm like, man, like I just love seeing Robert take the same steps, because I think in no time he's going to be having seen your work and having seen you perform. You could be walking in the same path as Robert and all those great names he just listed. That's amazing.
I appreciate that, John.
Yeah.
Have you worked with many of those guys, Robert?
I haven't worked with Pat Green yet. Or I don't think I've worked with Corey Moore yet, but I worked with Randy Rogers before. I've worked with a lot of the Texas country artists. I mean, I've worked with Randy Rogers, Clay Walker, Kyle Park, see Kevin Fowler, Roger Krager. Let me see who's some other guys. Pretty much majority of the main Texas kind of country guys, kind of the pioneers. I mean, majority of them I've worked with, and I've been fortunate to work with them because growing up in
So
high
cool.
school, those guys were kind of my idols. Listening to the music and stuff, and then to be able to share the stage with them. I mean, I always kind of take that into effect and try not to fangirl too hard sometimes.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Now you know what it's like getting to work with Chris. Chris Fonseca is Pat Green in comedy. And I don't mean to make that comparison, but you see how that is for
Yeah.
someone in my level looking up to Chris Fonseca. And I'm not trying to make you blush on your own podcast, but it is an excitement. It's an exciting thing to get to work with someone who I've seen you just burn stages down, man. It's a real, and only time can teach comics to do on stage what you do. Only time. All the talent in the world can't make you harness your skills until the time is right. And man, seeing you perform and getting to share the stage with you, believe me, everyone in Waco that I know is going to know that I'm performing with you two guys. That's for sure.
That's awesome, yeah. I posted the other day that I can already feel that, one day I'm gonna look back on this show and say, wow, we really did this, and you two guys, I'm sure, are gonna be like big stars, and it'll be one of those like, wait a minute, you were with who? You know, because like through my career, uh, I was just talking to Bill Engvall the other day, and like Bill and I worked together like in '92. We did a show at the Addison Improv, and like Bill was just starting to get out there on the Tonight Show and stuff, and now he's one of the biggest comics out there. Yeah, and I've done well, and it's just weird how sometimes you do these shows and you know that people are gonna do bigger and better things, but it's real cool to have that moment and
It
have
is.
fun.
Yeah. And I think it's cool the way I think that music and comedy were meant to be together. So having this kind of cross industry, very important just for live performers in general, because we all saw our careers get removed for a solid year. And so now we're not taking for granted each and every time. So I think it's going to be a perfect compliment. And I know what you mean. You see some shows where you're like, this is going to mean, like, it means something now to us. I think the three of us for sure, but the people seeing it might not know like the weight of the lineup, but they will in 5 or 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I give props to you guys comedians because I mean, as a musician, right? I mean, usually, especially with my band and everything, we have a kind of a set list, right? And hey, pretty much the set list that we use is kind of the same set list that we use for a lot of these shows, right? And every now and then we'll throw in a new song here and there. But I know with you guys, I mean, y'all guys gotta, come up with new stuff, and of course, uh, I've noticed there are a lot of folks that they don't have that humor, right? That kind of comedic factor. And so that kind of like you were saying how people that are sensitive about it or whatever, you're just gonna just beat on them, But uh, you know, I was thinking about it, like if I ever try to do comedy, like man, and that's because I'm a very sarcastic kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm with me and my band, like at sound check, we're always like cutting each other down, roasting each other about something. But even if I try to be comedian, I don't think I could do it just because I don't know. I feel like at least with me, like with a band, like it's like of course I'm the front man and everything, but I have a band behind me to kind of just you know to support me and
You got
make
a
me
crew.
smile.
Yeah, you got
But you guys are just
a
doing great.
song and an instrument. Yeah.
Right. So I give major props to you guys, man, because I don't and at least with music, an instrument you can at least practice it and stuff. But as far as being a comedian, I mean, you gotta actually have that talent, because like I said, like I was saying, like as a musician, you can easily pick it up and everything, and as long as you practice, I mean, I think you can develop a talent for it. But like I said, being a comedian, I mean, you guys are really witty and y'all are really smart. And
You're giving us too much credit.
Yeah.
You said anybody can do music, man. I think if you have talent pretty quick or not. With comedy, it's like we opted out of every other profession and landed in this.
Yeah.
Every other profession rejected me and I landed here. I don't know if that's how it happened.
Yeah, John said that comedy and music go together. I did a big show with Dave Chappelle in
Oh, really?
Austin in December, and
Wow.
he said, "Hey, there's this guy that's gonna play a few tunes," and he was talking about Gary Clark Jr.
I went to high school with Gary Clark Jr. That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Wow.
one grade below me. Terrific guy.
Yeah, great guy. But I looked at David and I'm like, I've got to follow. What? Are you crazy? Yeah. And he was like, you Chris MF and Fonseca. I'm like, yes, sir. And, and it was great, but sometimes you're like, what?
Yeah, what are you doing? Gary Clark, yeah.
Have you met Gary Roberts?
Was it Chris?
Have you met Gary?
I haven't met Gary yet. Not yet.
You know who he is?
Now his father was Gary Clark was a well-known songwriter, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
And guitarist, yeah.
yeah, but
But yeah, no, if you haven't seen him, a really good introduction, you can listen to any one of his albums, and it's truly, I'm not saying this because I am a fan separate, like we haven't talked in years, so this is just me talking to you. Every album is good, but I saw him this year on the few releases of SNL. Watch the 2020, I think it was late 2020 or early 2021. He was a guest on Saturday Night Live, and I've never seen a guest like just kind of take that moment take it so well without any gimmicks. He took it with music. It was one of the more memorable performances I've ever seen on SNL without gimmicks of like setting a fire or like smashing guitars. It was just like straight up music you don't see on SNL, and it was just badass. I would if you've never seen him, see him live and then listen to his albums. It's amazing.
All right, I'll definitely look.
He killed it. Yeah.
yeah.
We've gone off. We've given so many other performers like, follow this, look at them.
Yeah. But I think that part of the cool thing about what we do is we
Mhm.
get to be introduced to different people and follow what they do. You know, like all three of us here, yeah, like John and I are both comics, but we have very different styles of comedy. You know, and then Robert being a country artist, you know, and I'm a big country fan, as I said, and it's just cool to be able to work together and be able to do a show like this and, you know, really give the audience like a taste of different things.
Yeah, I know. A lot of times, with bands, there's sometimes where like, if a couple of bands are playing together, they're always trying to, I don't want to say outdo the other, but like, one band will like crank up their volume a little louder so they can sound like bigger and everything. But I always, whenever we do a show with somebody, and let's just say someone's opening up for me or something, of course, I've been in their shoes, right? I know what it's like to open up for a band. You got to get there early, load in, sound check, especially a lot of times the stage is small, you have limited room, I let them use our drums or whatever. But I usually want to make it easier for everybody, not make it harder. So that way, I mean, you don't want to leave with the impression that, they think that, you know, I'm arrogant, or, just don't
Uh,
really care. Whatever. And for me, I always say, uh we're all just trying to achieve the same thing, which is, hey, put on a good show for the audience,
Mhm.
right? People come out here, they're paying money, paying their hard-earned money to come see us and support us. And hey, I don't want it to be a bickering battle or anything like that. We're all there trying to just put on a good show, and make sure everyone enjoys their time while they're there, 'cause that's what they paid for, so uh it's an honor to be performing with you guys, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, I can't wait.
yeah, I know. A couple months ago, I was in Detroit, and the feature act at the end of the set, he did like a trick with the yo-yo where he put like a playing card behind some woman's ear and like he hit it out with the yo-yo and like people were looking at me like, how are you gonna follow that? And I went up there and I opened with, hey y'all, good to be here. Wanna tell you I wasn't born handicapped. Some jackass hit me in the head with a yo-yo.
That's a great opener, man.
And like the guy took it in stride.
It
But
crushed right away. Yeah.
yeah, it was,
What a good handshake to the audience. I love those types of openings. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because, you know, uh, it's all one big show and everybody should have fun, you know.
Yeah.
And Robert, real quick, I know that you're doing Mountain Country's fifth birthday a
Mhm.
couple days after we're in Waco. That's really cool. Uh, Sorry I can't be there. I had to come to Florida for my granddaughter's birthday, but I'm gonna definitely encourage my fans and friends in Colorado to go out and see you.
thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And yeah, hey, family's everything. Of course, go see. Of course, you got to be there for your granddaughter's birthday.
Oh yeah.
But I appreciate you spreading the word about the show. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I love Colorado. The weather up there compared to Texas is, oh man, so much better. I remember I took a radio tour up there back in 2018, and I remember it was like June or July, and I remember, of course, in Texas, that's right around the 100-degree temperatures like
Yep.
every day,
Oh yeah.
especially in South Texas. And man, I remember being in Colorado, and it was like in the 60s and lower 70s. God, it was just so nice. I was like, man, I can see why people would want to come up here for the summer, you know.
Oh yeah.
But it's of course, I remember I was driving into Colorado Springs from, I think it was, I want to say it was Kansas, I think. And anyways, of course it was nighttime, right? So I got there to Colorado probably around maybe like 11 or midnight. And that morning I had a radio interview at 7:30, I think, or 8. So right away I just crashed out. And then I woke up the next morning, and my guitarist was said, now we went, took off to the radio station, put in our Google Maps or whatever. And man, it just looked like there was just like a backdrop, we saw the mountains and everything. It was like, wow, what a beautiful scene. And so, like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to playing in Colorado on May 15th as well. But I'm just I'm hoping that it snows, but not really, because I don't really want to drive through the snow. But at the same time, down here in South Texas, I mean, put it this way, we had that little freeze back in February, and we got like maybe like a tenth of an inch of snow. Like ice, pretty much just ice. I
You
remember
got the dandruff of snow. Yeah.
I remember it was our power had just gone out, but we were supposed to like had a chance of like getting some snow. And I just remember going outside, and it was just cold and really cold. And I saw little ice pellets come down. I'm like, yeah, it's snowing. And then like probably like
Dude, Robert, let's go skiing this winter coming up. Let's go skiing or snowboarding so you can see what real snow looks like. Chris, he lives in it. He's spoiled with it. But yeah, man, my wife and I are going snowboarding and skiing this winter. Come with us.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, if
So
I don't,
anti-South Texas, like let's just do it.
as long as I don't hurt myself, I'm totally up for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
I've actually done like the handicap skiing before, where they like do a sled kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the first time I did it, believe it or not, my guide was former President Jimmy Carter.
Wow, really?
What?
Yeah, we done this big benefit for the handicap ski program, and like the next day they took me out there, and President Carter asked if he could be my guide. And
What on earth?
it was surreal because, like, not only is he doing that, but then the Secret Service has to ski around.
I love it.
Yeah, it was very weird, but a cool memory. And I'm still in touch with them to this day.
Oh, well, you're obviously welcome to come to the ski trip. I didn't mean to uninvite you. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll be more inclusive. My bad.
Not at all, brother. It will be fun. I'm sure that we're all gonna get along great and have some good food, have a great show,
Yes.
build a fan base in Waco.
Oh yeah.
So, well, thank y'all. And we will see each other on May 13th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you, John. It's
Thank you so much, Chris.
yeah, cool.
Looking forward to working with you, Robert, man. I'm a big fan. So these
Likewise.
people watching this should also be looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, this will be awesome. Talk to y'all soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take care.
Take care.
God bless.
Later.
God bless.